Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Anthem video. It's Thales Moustache here and today I'm gonna show you guys the strongest fire storm build. So let's move to the seals. Here you can see we're using the binary star as the blast seal. Let me show you guys what I got here. So the binary star is basically an upgraded living flame which will seek enemies through walls. And it applies the burning effect into enemies and the damage over time, which is really good. Now the special effect of this one is that it launches 2 living flame projectiles that burn enemies instead of 1. So this is a really good blast seal. I don't know why nobody's using this blast seal because basically to me it's the best one to prime the targets. It seeks enemies really far from each other. You don't have to attack like a cluster of enemies in order to prime them. You can just throw it and it will seek randomly enemies and do a lot of damage over time. And whenever it actually hits the enemy, it will do enough fire status to burn it and apply the damage over time. So it's really good. Unfortunately, the descriptions I got here are not the best. You can see we got 225 blast damage for weapon, which is not being applied for the build. But we got the 100% elemental damage, which increases the elemental damage by 100%. And this one is actually really good. So now let's move into the focus seal. In this case, we're going to be using the 10,000 suns. And yes, actually this one combos with the binary star. Whenever you throw the binary star and the enemy starts burning, you can throw the 10,000 suns and it will combo 100% of the time. So that's a very good combo, man. You're going to be using 2 fire skills that combo with each other and they actually match up perfectly. I don't know why people are not using this, man. I mean, 10,000 suns is being used by everyone, but nobody uses the binary star, and they should start looking into it because it's really amazing, and you're gonna see here in the end of the video. So for the 10,000 suns, you can see it's an upgraded burning orb, and the combo effect is a chain. The Striker's Wrath, which is the effect, after hitting an enemy, it gains 5% increased damage for 5 seconds and stacks to 20 times. So that means after hitting 20 enemies, if you manage to hit them within a gap of 5 seconds from each other, you will actually gain a 100% damage buff, which is really good. The descriptions of this one are actually quite good. You can see we got 150% gear damage and 5% speed, so actually it's reasonable. There are many better ones out there, but I managed to correct this one, which is the best that I have right now, so I'm sticking to it. So now let's move into the weapons. Basically, we're using the 2 best weapons you can use for the storm, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. You can see there's legendary Death from Above, which is a marksman rifle. Actually has 200% increased physical damage, which do increase the damage of the bullets, so it deals an insane amount of damage. And I'm gonna show you guys a clip just shooting a weak spot of the Tyrant Mine boss, so you can see what I'm talking about when I see this thing is really overpowered. The effect of this one is that it delivers a powerful 3-shot burst, and the Raptor Sense while hovering increases weak point damage by 65%. Now that's perfect for the storm because you're gonna be hovering basically all of the time. So whenever you hit a weak spot, you're gonna get a 65% damage buff. So that's really good. So now for the other weapon, we're using of course the Avenging Herald, which packs a big punch on the enemies. Now the effect of this one is that while hovering, it increases the weapon damage by 200%. Now I'm using this one basically for the 65% maximum shield inscription, not for the damage, because if I want damage I'm just using this one because I found out that the damage per second of the Death from Above in this inscriptions are much better than the Avenging Herald. But if I want to use this one for damage, I would swap to this Avenging Herald right here that has plus 100% physical damage, and it does really twice the damage of this one. It's really insane, but it's all up to you. You're gonna be using more your seals than your weapons in this case. Now for the components, we're using the Mark of Wrath that increases gear damage by 50% and lowers gear recharge rate by 20%. Now the effect is really good with that while R1 recharges, L1 damage increases by 50% for 5 seconds. That's really good. Now for the second mark, we're using the Gunslinger's Mark, which increases gear recharge rate by 50% and lowers gear damage by 20%. So those two actually match up really nice. If you're using one, you have to use another in order to be balanced. So by using both of them, you're gonna get a gear recharge rate increase of 30% and a gear damage increase of 30%. So it's a win-win situation. And it also has an inscription that is actually not working. You can see here, hover increases all weak point damage by 0%. I mean, this one used it to be working, but people managed to stack this effect infinitely, and they were able to one-shot everything in the game. So they patched it out and put a 0% increase, which is nothing, of course, until they actually find a way to balance this out. So just keep that in mind. The effect is not working right now, but it may be working in the future. Now for the third one, we're using the Token of Daring that increases elemental damage by 35% and decreases physical damage by 35%. Now the inscription is really good. Also, a shield break increases shield damage by 20% for 20 seconds. So what does it mean? As you're going to be using your seals much more often than your weapons, it's really good to have an increased elemental damage. And you're going to get less damage for the shots, for the bullets, but it doesn't matter that much because you're going to be just every now and then you're going to be using your weapons, but you're going to be using all the time your seals. Now the shield break going to increase the seal damage, which is your 10,000 suns and your binary star, by 20% for 20 seconds. That's really good. You're going to have this in your build. That's negotiable. Now for the fourth component, we're using the Token of the Master, which increases blast damage by 35%. Now this will increase the damage of the 10,000 suns directly by 35%. That's huge. You need to be using this. And also the effect of this one is really good. Hitting an enemy with the R1 increases L1 damage by 60% for 5 seconds. So whenever your binary star recharges and you just hit an enemy with your 10,000 suns, you can throw your binary star and you will get a buff of 60% damage for it. So that's really good. Now for the fifth component, we're using the Token of the Pupil, which increases the number of combo chains by 2. That's not so good, but take a look at this effect. Hitting an enemy with an L1 increases R1 damage by 60% for 5 seconds. Now that's really good. The best way to open up a fight with this build is whenever you start fighting, you throw your binary star, and as soon as it hits something, you're gonna start spamming your 10,000 suns, charged ones of course, and whenever you throw it, it will be buffed by 60% of its damage because the binary star already hit an enemy, so you're getting this buff right here. So it's really good. And last but not least, we're using the Amulet of Winter. Now I will need to explain to you guys quickly because we're using this one because the effects are actually swapped. So if we go here, you can see we were meant to use the Mark of Ruin instead because it both increases fire damage and it gives this awesome effect right here, which while R1 recharges, R1 damage increases by 20% for 20 seconds. That's perfect because the binary star actually take a while to recharge, so whenever it's recharging, you're getting a 20% buff to your binary to your 10,000 suns, and this is really good. But unfortunately, that's not working like that. The effects of the Mark of Ruin and the Amulet of Winter are swapped. So if you use the Mark of Winter, you're gonna get the Amulet of Winter effect. If you use the Amulet of Winter, you're gonna get the Mark of Ruin effect. So that's why we're using the Amulet of Winter. Not because of the ice increased damage, not because of its inscription, but because it actually is giving us the effect of the Mark of Ruin, which will increase the damage of our 10,000 suns. I know that's weird, but keep an eye open for this one because when it gets patched out, you will need to switch your Amulet of Winter for your Mark of Ruin. So just bear that in mind. And that's pretty much it for the build, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Now I'm gonna show you guys a small demonstration so you can actually see the full power of this build in action. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe for more Anthem videos like that. So thank you for watching, guys, and until the next episode, see you!